Hey, I wanted to jump on here and make a quick video because I've had a few people asking about ankle flexibility. So little stretches to do for ankle mobility. So my favorites are these. So Eve's feet. So it's like you are holding hands with your toes, okay? And gently pressing your foot back. So you're forcing your foot to flex with your hand and then pulling it forward. So forcing it to point with your hands and then flex and then point, right? So doing that back and forth and then rolling your ankle one direction and rolling it as far as you can. So getting as much mobility as you possibly can. So just manually rolling your foot. Do you hear my foot cracking? Yeah, awesome. Okay, and then so just make sure you do it on both sides. So interlacing your fingers between your toes, good. Like you're holding hands with your foot. So pressing it back and pulling it forward, good. So flexing and pointing and then rolling in circles, one direction and then the other. So that feels really good, can loosen things up a little bit. I also love toe squats, or some people call it fire toes or torture pose. So anyways, so just tuck your toes under so your toes are gripping the mat, and then walk your hands back. So you can start in tabletop, tuck your toes under, walk your hands back, and start to walk back as far as feels good to you, to where you feel an opening in the bottoms of your feet and in your toes. If it starts to hurt, just lean forward until it doesn't hurt. Wherever you are, that's perfect, exactly where you need to be now, but find your edge where you feel an opening, but not excruciating pain, right? But it might feel good to lean back a little bit. It might feel good to draw your palms together at heart center. It might feel good to reach back with your fingertips and lift up through your heart space. It might feel good to lower your heels a little bit. So find what feels good to you, where you get that opening in the bottoms of your feet and your toes. You'll see you'll get a different stretch if you keep your heels high, and then you'll stretch more into your toes if you drop your heels a little lower. So you can play with that. But once that feels good, you can walk your hands forward, untuck your toes, tap them out, make sure you got energy flowing through your toe tips, and then walk your hands back and start to lift your knees up. So we just stretch the bottoms of our feet, so let's stretch the top of your feet. So again, as far as feels good to you, so this might be your max, but maybe start lifting your knees up and find your edge where you feel a good stretch. If this doesn't do it for you, you can always walk your hands forward and lift your hips up and back to a version of downward facing dog where you're on top of your toes. Right, so that you're stretching the tops of your feet. Good. All right, and when you feel like you've stretched that, you can tap your feet out. Another thing that's really good is if you step back into the ball of your foot. Good, so you'll feel a stretch in your calf, right? So lean back into that, and then it might feel good to bend your knee and see if you can move the stretch from your calf down into your Achilles tendon. Good, so feel the stretch move there. So maybe straighten it and see if you feel it rise back up to your calf, and then bend, see if you feel it drop down into your Achilles tendon. Good. And then straighten it out and take a moment to shift your shoulders forward and back using your ankles to press off. So pressing through your foot to shift forward and back, and see what that can do. See how that feels in your foot. See how it feels in your ankle. Good, and then switching sides. So you step back into the ball of the foot, feel the stretch in the calf, and then bend the knee and see if you can feel the stretch move from the calf down into the Achilles tendon. So maybe play with straightening and bending the knee, good. And then rock yourself forward and back with your ankle. So using your foot to draw your shoulders forward and back and see what that does for you. Good. All right, and then your ankles should feel a little bit looser and ready to play. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know how it works.